Hello my dear students, welcome to English 810, the vocational education. We're going to have a very important lesson, which is the adjective clauses in Unit 6, Lesson 2. By the end of this lesson, we're going to achieve two main objectives. The first one is to identify relative pronouns and adjective clauses, and we're going to use adjective clauses in a description. So let's see, my dear students, what are relative pronouns? The relative pronouns are three main things that I'm so sure you use them every day while speaking or writing. Look at the blue box with me. That, which, and who. Each one of these relative pronouns means something or determines something. Let's see, starting with that. That is used to define things. When I want to talk about things as an object, we use that. This is an example. My watch, that is on the table, is a gift from my father. That here refers to my watch. It gives extra description and explanation for the watch. Second one is which. Which also is used to define things, but it's rarely sometimes used to define people, but mainly it's used to define things. Let's see an example to clarify it. That shop, which is at the corner, sells cakes and cookies. Here I am talking about the shop. I want to tell the people what is the purpose of this shop, so I am determining that shop using which. Last but not least, who. And of course, who is used to define people. Let's see this example. The boy who took the pen is my brother. Now, I want to tell the readers that my brother is the one who took the pen, so I have to define my brother using this relative pronoun, which is who. Now, let's see what are adjective clauses. Adjective clauses is the main concept of our lesson. I'll ask you to pay attention, my dear students, to the adjective clauses and the usage of them. An adjective clause is a clause that describes a noun. What's the meaning of describes a noun? Let's see the example. My bike that has a broken seat is in the garage. Now, let's imagine that I am explaining or describing my bike without using the adjective clause that. My bike has a broken seat, it's in the garage. I didn't clarify anything and I haven't used any adjective clause. But let's imagine that I am using here this adjective clause, which is that. In this case, I am describing the object, which is my bike, the noun. I'm giving it a very clear description. So here I'm defining that my bike that has a broken seat is in the garage. I'm giving extra explanation and description. Now, before I go further in the explaining, let me just ask you a very quick question. Do you know what is the difference between subject and object? Both of them are very important. We should know the differences between subject and object. Let's see, I'll clarify that in examples. I go school with my sister. Pay attention to the word highlighted in red. I. Who is I? I, it's me. I am doing the thing. I am taking the action. So I am the subject. Now, object. I go school with my sister. Now, my question is not about the subject. I don't want to know who's the subject. I want to know what is being happened. What is happening here is that I go to the school. The school is where I go. So here is the object. Let's see together. I is the subject. School is the object. Now, this is the difference between subject and object. Subject is, the majority of the subjects are persons or someone who could do an action, while object is the thing being happened. Why am I explaining this? What is the purpose of knowing the subject and the object? You will know now. Let's go back again to the adjective clauses and let's start with the pronouns used as a subject. 1, 2, and 3. Pay attention. Number 1. The lady who lives next door visited me last night. Look at this, my dear students. Here, when I say the lady who lives, it means that I am obviously talking about the lady. So, the lady is the subject. Why is she the subject? Because she is the one doing the action, or she is the one being talked about. For example, here I'm saying who lives next door visited me last night. Who lives? So I'm talking about someone who lives next to me or next to anyone else. So the lady is the subject. Who refers to the lady. Pronoun used as subject. Who is the pronoun? It's referring to the lady, which is the subject. Let's move to the second example. The company that makes this coffee is small. Pay attention. Here is the pronoun, which is that, and it refers to the company. Again, the company is the subject. In this case here, I'm talking about the company as a subject that I'm defining, I'm determining the company. So again, the pronoun used as subject. Let's go to the last example, The cafe, which is on 77th Street, provides the best coffee. Now, we're talking about the cafe, so the cafe is the subject, which is referring to the cafe being the subject. And here, I use these pronouns as subjects. Is there another use of them? Let's see. Pronouns used as objects. As I have previously explained, there is difference between the subject and the object. The subject is the doer, me, I, or whoever is doing the thing, whoever is taking the action. But the the object is the thing which is being happened or the place which is being visited. So let's see. I would like you to pay attention to the first example specifically. Why? Because here I'm talking about this pronoun, which is whom. It's not only who, it's whom. It has M at the end, whom. When do I use who? When do I use whom? I use whom if the thing that I want to specify or to define, or let's say to determine, is the object, not the subject. Let's see the first example. The woman whom I spoke to was the receptionist. Let's see. We will analyze this example. Who is the subject here? I. What is the verb? Spoke. You spoke to who? I spoke to the woman, which means the woman is an object. In this case, I don't use who, I use whom. So, if the thing that I'm speaking or determining is the object, I use whom, not who. Let's go to the second example. The presentation that we saw was about social media. Let's see. Who is the subject here? We. Where is the verb? So. Where is the object? We saw what? The presentation. So here, that is referring to the presentation, which is the object. Last but not least, again, it will be the same thing because that in which both determine objects in this case. Or let's say that in which determine things. So, which is used here. Let's see the example. I liked the idea which he raised. I is the subject. Liked is the verb. You liked what? we like the idea which. So now which here refers to the idea. So there are two groups. Pay attention once again. There are pronouns used as subject and there are pronouns used as object. In the case of that and which, it doesn't make a difference. But in the case of determining people, I use who when the pronoun used as subject, and I use whom with an M at the end when the pronoun used as object. Let me just clear everything. Let me just take example 1 and example 1 here and here to clarify it once again. The lady who, the lady here is the subject. So I'm using who. Here, the woman